This podcast is brought to you by Glitterati Communications. Learn more about Glitterati at bglitterati.com. What's up? My name is Dwayne Jones. I'm an artist and a designer and the founder of a lifestyle brand called Art Pays Me. And this is the Art Pays Me podcast. I love talking to creative people about their business, their successes, their challenges, and how they make the world a better place with their work. Let's get into it. Welcome to a special series of Art Pays Me interviews with the winners of the 2023 Creative Nova Scotia Awards. Presented by Arts Nova Scotia and the Creative Nova Scotia Leadership Council, the Creative Nova Scotia Awards celebrate excellence in artistic achievement. The award categories are as follows: Creative Community Impact, Prix Grand Prix, Established Artist, Emerging Artist, Black Artist, Indigenous Artist, and finally the Portia White Prize that is given to a person who has made outstanding and significant contributions to Nova Scotia's creative community over a sustained career, much like the incredible woman that the award is named after. The winner will also choose an emerging artist or cultural organization that they feel deserve some additional recognition and let's be real, some bread, some extra funding, because money is what enables us to do what we do. Collectively, the awards are worth $75,000. Visit artsns.ca to nominate your favorite Nova Scotia artist, or be a boss and nominate yourself. We artists got to start, looking out for number one. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's gonna take care of us if we don't take care of ourselves, right? It's okay. Anyway, this series, it would not be possible without the fantastic production work of Heist and Kiki Beats. Shout out to them once again. Okay, so you are someone I've been following for a long time on social media, and I've been just wanting to connect with for a while, so I'm excited that we get to do this. Mm-hmm. But can you state your name for the other people? Your name, your pronouns, and your artistic medium.
Yes, so my name's Lydia Zimmer. I go by she, her, and I am a dancer and choreographer here in Halifax.
Nice.
Yeah.
So actually, that was easy for you to say what your medium was, actually. A lot of people have a hard time differentiating. Which one would you say you like doing better, dance or choreography?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think right now in my life, I'm more interested in choreographing works, but I do insert myself into my own works a lot. So I get to dance while choreographing. But right now I'm kind of more in the choreographic realm.
Cool. Yeah, so you get to create the routines that you always wanted to do yourself.
Yes, yeah.
So is there a particular work that you're most proud of or particularly proud of?
So this past year or two, during COVID, all good. Mocean Dance commissioned me to make a work with some dancers that are brilliant movers, and I was so fortunate enough to have this opportunity. So during COVID, we started creating this work, Mercurials, and it was for their 20th anniversary. And I think that to date, that's probably my most, I put a lot of heart and effort into this work. Mm-hmm. And design-wise, I feel like it balanced out kind of my life at where I was.
Sure.
And so I think that piece, it's been a launching point for a lot of other work that I'm making now. So yeah, that piece. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's so interesting how that happens. You do with us, it's like creatives anyway. You do certain work and it always kind of leads to your next thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it leaks into the next thing. There's a pathway always. Yeah. You can kind of see with people's artwork. It goes one into the next. Yeah.
Right. So what would you say the driving force is behind your artistic work?
So I like to incorporate a lot of mental health issues into my work, because I've been dealing with that for a long time, and I'm pretty open about that.
Yeah.
And so that is the driving force behind pretty much everything I do. And I feel lucky that I've had so many opportunities presented to me so far to be able to really dive into those issues.
Right. So like that tends to be sort of like the base of your work. Is that also like why you keep creating, maybe on a therapeutic?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I also really, and this is probably part of it, I love thrillers and horror movies and kind of more of the macabre work of a lot of other like artists. So I like to incorporate this like little bit of like an odd, haunted, mysterious element into my work, which I think totally plays into that mental health category. Yeah.
What did you think of Black Swan? Did you see that?
I did, yes. I think that was mostly, again, a dancer with undiagnosed problems. And then it's actually like a lot of the struggles that Natalie Portman portrayed.
Yeah.
I think a lot of dancers go through that type A, like perfectionism, and it manifests in really terrible ways sometimes.
Yeah.
But it can create beautiful art, and that's just the other side of it.
Yeah. So that's the conundrum, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
So, I mean, to segue into that, are there like routines that are part of your creative process that you regularly do? And like, I know you said mental health is a big part of your process, but like, I guess as a dancer is probably different, and as a choreographer is probably different too. So I guess, what would that be?
So I like to do tons of improvisation, and that's kind of how like the work bubbles up. And I use different kind of techniques and modules in the studio to work within. So I'll give myself tasks to accomplish throughout a day or a studio work, just to make sure that I kind of stay on the straight and narrow, or else you're improvising and it could just turn into like la 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 all over. And a lot of the tasks are based on kind of text work, poetry, that I'm using to create like whatever next piece I'm working on. There's like, I'm trying to marry different elements together.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I tend to have music that I'm slowly trying to memorize.
Yeah.
And then I can take cues off of that with my improvisation. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but just trying to like bundle a little package together that I can use efficiently in a studio practice.
Right.
And then that evolves from there. Yeah.
So how does like, I did martial arts for a long time, and we had like these set movements called forms, which are kind of like choreographed dance, but more with martial arts moves. I struggle to remember them, and I don't really remember most of them anymore. Like, how do you as a dancer keep that straight in your head?
Yeah, I think that's like, it's so interesting, because I'll, like, if I'm talking to my family after a show, they're like, how do you remember a whole show? Or, you know, it's like, it is fascinating to think about. I think it kind of started for me, like I did ballet when I was younger, and you have to memorize the syllabus, the ballet syllabus for ballet exams.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of stuff you have to remember. So I think my brain kind of got conditioned to do that, or you can, like, it started when I was younger. So now, in practice, if I don't, you know, time goes by and I'm like, ugh, I did something, a couple months and I have to teach my dancers now. So I'll record.
Cheat code.
Yes, cheat code. I'll record what I've done, and then I hand it off to my dancers, and I'm like, sorry about this, but you're gonna have to learn this from video. Yeah, it's either just remembering, I don't know, it's like muscle memory.
Muscle memory, yeah, you're exercising that muscle.
And when you're linking with other dancers, the mirror neurons start to take effect, and it's like a kind of like this group mentality, especially when everyone's learning together. But yeah, other than that, the cheat code.
Yeah.
Yep.
What style of dance do you lean into these days?
I would say that it's, I always tell people that I'm just weird. Capitalize on being as weird as possible. mixture between like ballet, contemporary that I grew up learning, some like fundamental modern techniques
Yeah.
that I learned in school, and then I studied some Forsyth improvisational techniques
Yeah.
at a school that I went to a long time ago, and that had a huge effect on, I guess, how I approach these modules that I was talking about in the studio. So improvisation is just like a big blah of
Yes.
stuff, yeah.
Right, like not dismissing movements that may
Yeah.
be not a part of a specific discipline.
Yeah, I think it's just like a big melting pot of movement and style, and yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
So you mentioned off camera that you had lived in Boston for a while. So like,
Yeah.
how does like creating in Nova Scotia impact your work?
I am so thankful to be back in Nova Scotia. So I also lived in Los Angeles for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And I like really was trying to find my voice, my artistic voice when I was there. And again, so thankful for the opportunities that I had there. But being back on the East Coast is definitely where I belong.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that just culturally and socially, I feel really at home here. I mean, I did grow up in Halifax, so creating here is it feels safe in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, when you feel safe, you can relax, and when you're relaxed, that's when creative juices can really flow. So the stress environment can be a little bit lower than in a city where you're like, where am I? Or in another country.
Yeah.
But going off to artist residencies can be, it's like little spice drops,
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
Little salt.
Yeah.
And that can give you nice like bursts of information, and that can, I think, like you can interpret that however you want, but I think that it's really fun and exciting to do that too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great to be able to like go away, get that inspiration,
Yeah.
see what other people are doing.
Take the golden nuggets
Yeah.
and bring them back home and work on them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you know, by osmosis are, you know, affecting the community around here too. So.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I didn't ask you about before though is teaching. How
Right.
important is teaching to you? Like.
Yes. So I taught through my 20s.
Yeah.
And I don't teach anymore. But I really enjoy teaching like teenagers. It's a very specific part of like growth in an individual. And I know that when I was a teenager, certain teachers really helped me kind of step out of my shell, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do when I do workshops. I do workshops now, but like really trying to harness the individual, and again, that kind of comes back to mental health stuff. Because we don't want to be this like just nebulous crew of people that are trying to make it in the dance world. Like everyone's got very specific voices, and harnessing those values is, I think, so important when you're younger.
Yeah.
And I think it just helps these like young folks establish who they are in the world. And you know, when you know like what you can develop in a studio practice, you're vulnerable and you're producing stuff with your body and your mind, and you can really take that out into the world with you. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. So what does this award mean to you?
Oh, well, I cried when I found out
Really?
that I got it. Yes, of course. You know, like I just was so overwhelmingly happy. I feel like emotional about it right now, actually.
Nice.
You know, you work so hard, and just being recognized for all the hard work that you do just feels really good. I think just point blank, like it just feels really good to be recognized for things. You know, you put so much time and energy, blood, sweat, and tears, literally, into things, and when, it just feels really, really nice.
Yeah. So like you said that mental health is a big part of your creative process, but like what does dance do for your personal mental health?
Yes, it helps regulate my mood,
Okay.
very specifically. Yes, so it's quite a hard, complicated question, but yes, it helps regulate my mood. It is cathartic. I feel like when I said capitalize on my weirdness. I know it sounds awful, but I had a hard time kind of just figuring out who I was for when I was in high school, and dance just always brought me back to home. Like I feel like I'm at home. I'm obsessed with dance. Like
Yeah.
I can't do anything else.
Sure.
I can't see myself doing anything else ever.
Yeah.
And like it's just so ingrained as a part of who I am.
Yeah.
It's cellular at this point. And if I'm having a bad day, I'll come to the studio. If I'm having a good day, I'll go to the studio. If I feel crazy, I'll go to the studio. If I feel calm, I'll go to the studio. Like it's
Alone
just
too. It doesn't necessarily
on
have
my
to
own.
be with people.
I love being on my own.
No,
I love it. Yeah, no, I love creating.
I get it.
love creating on my own, and I can, I get to like crack my mind open,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm in a safe space to do that, and let whatever creepy, sad, weird, fun, energetic, playful things can just like kind of leak out of me. Yeah, it's about safety for me, I think. Like I feel so safe being in a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, before filming, we talked about you're preparing for knee surgery.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I just had mine, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
in basketball for me is my, when I'm feeling good, when I'm feeling bad is what I do, and I can't do it for a year. How does that like for you, like preparing for your surgery, you're not going to be able to dance during your recovery.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's why I've been putting it off. You're so busy, and then you're like, oh, I don't actually want to.
yeah,
And it's like you'd rather just like live with the pain sometimes.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you're like, come on, get it together. You're an adult. Go have the surgery. Yeah. When I've had major injuries in the past and having to not dance, it really does take a huge toll on you and your mental health and
Yeah.
your ability to just even exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously a part of it too. Just being able to literally work out, exercise. Yeah, it takes a huge toll, but I think that being able now to kind of design shows in my mind or design pieces, use different parts of myself that I've fully come into now
Yeah.
to kind of just at least choreograph distantly something, like always trying to be involved in it no matter what.
Yep.
It'll never go away no matter how injured I am.
yeah,
So just trying to like stay in the world as much as possible through any of the injuries, even
Right.
if it's just reviewing old work and thinking about what can I do to make this better, something like that. Yeah.
yeah. That's a great part of like you being into choreography and other aspects of the
Yeah.
dance world. It's like you can still exercise that creative.
Yeah. There's always
muscle.
something to do. There's
Yeah.
always something to work on. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think we're good. Dance?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah, it was nice getting to know what you do. Make sure you go to artsns.ca to nominate yourself or nominate your favorite Nova Scotia-based artist. But you can nominate yourself too, right? Cool. Check me out at artpaysme.com. Peace.